The Sims is reportedly the best-selling computer game in history, so you might think that The Sims Online, which is essentially an online version of this game, would be a guaranteed success. It just sounds like a really, really intriguing idea. Unfortunately, at this time, The Sims Online doesn't really realize that potential. Though The Sims Online does offer a lot of opportunities for socializing with other players, interacting with them, chatting with them, throwing parties at your own little virtual house, The Sims Online at this point in time actually seems pretty limited. It doesn't have a lot of the interesting features that the original Sims had, and it doesn't really replace them with anything. So one of the most interesting things about the original Sims was just how many different ways you could approach the game. If you wanted to, you could approach it as some sort of role-playing game. The Sims let you create a small family of little computer people called Sims. It let you build a house to put them in, and if you wanted to, you could treat them like role-playing game characters. You could try to build them up by increasing their skills, or by getting them a better job, or by trying to get as many friends as you possibly could in the neighborhood. Another way you could approach The Sims was just focus on the building. Many people just really enjoyed building houses in The Sims, buying up different kinds of furniture, placing them in their houses, expanding them to a second floor, that sort of thing. A third and probably the most interesting way to play The Sims was just to play the game like basically a virtual ant farm. You would just create the Sims, give them maybe certain kinds of personality traits, and then just let them go. Maybe they'd make friends, maybe they'd make enemies, maybe they'd set the kitchen on fire. They'd do all kinds of interesting and unpredictable stuff. Unfortunately, these interesting features aren't really in The Sims Online. Basically what you do is, instead of creating a family of Sims and building and furnishing a house, you start off with one Sim and a limited amount of money. Now you might think that the first thing you should do is build your own house, furnish it, and get started. Currently, the way The Sims Online is set up, that's not really the best way to go. The Sims Online encourages you to play in groups with other people, and the way the game does that is it provides bonuses for performing activities in groups. So there are two major activities right now that players in The Sims Online focus on. That's improving their skills and also making money with job objects. Basically, there are 5 different skills that Sims can increase. There's logic, charisma, body, mechanical, and cooking. You can improve these skills by studying or by performing actions like playing chess to improve your logic. Once you've built up your skills, you can use them with certain job objects, which will make your Sims money. Unfortunately, at this point in time, that is basically most of what people do in The Sims Online right now. The game's economy is rather underdeveloped. So basically, instead of walking into a house and seeing a bunch of people throwing a party and doing fun stuff, it's not uncommon to see them just sitting there frantically playing chess or writing on a chalkboard in large groups, just trying to improve their skills and make lots of money. Unfortunately, at this point in time, there really isn't that much to do with money, except building your own house with your own skill objects and your own job objects. The development team has stated that it has plans to flesh out the economy, just like it plans to flesh out other systems in the game, like the Friendship Web, which lets you basically add friends to a list of bookmarks. If you have a very large Friendship Web with lots and lots of friends, you'll be considered a popular Sim, and this will be called out in the game. Unfortunately, this and other systems just aren't really developed very well at this point in time. If you play the game right now, you'll probably get the sense that these systems probably should have already been implemented and tested in the game's beta, rather than put in after the game's release. That said, The Sims Online does offer some interesting opportunities for socializing. You control your own little Sim, and other players control theirs. You can go around chatting with people and using the game's expressive and humorous character animations to do all sorts of crazy interactions with other people. Unfortunately, these character animations are the exact same ones that were in The Sims 3 years ago. The Sims Online really doesn't look or sound a whole lot better than the original Sims. In fact, it recycles a lot of the original game's graphics and sounds. But you can still have fun socializing with other players in The Sims Online, provided you make sure to attend to your Sims' needs. You need to make sure, just like in the original game, that your Sims aren't hungry, that they aren't sleepy, that they aren't bored, because if they are, they'll refuse to follow orders. The Sims Online has a number of the original game's shortcomings, like a slow scrolling camera and problematic pathfinding for The Sims. Also, when you socialize with other players, you need to make sure that you're reasonably polite with them and that you follow the game's fairly strict terms of service. This is, of course, to maintain a friendly environment in the game, but it also kind of limits your ability to do things like For instance, play a character who isn't very nice. If you do this, you may make other players upset. So the slogan on the box of The Sims Online may seem a bit misleading. It says, be somebody else. And it might have been more accurate to also put in parentheses after that, as long as you make sure you're polite with other people, as long as you make sure you follow the terms of service, and as long as you make sure you fulfill your Sims needs every so often. The Sims Online was a very intriguing game. It had a lot of potential. It still has a lot of potential, and the developers have stated that they have plans to continuously improve and flesh out the game. But at this point in time, The Sims Online seems incomplete. The online game doesn't seem to have a lot of the interesting options that the original offline game had, and it doesn't really replace them with anything. If you're interested in playing The Sims Online, you may want to visit the game's official message boards, ask around, and also see if there are friends of yours who would be interested in playing the game. The Sims Online is still an interesting game, but it seems like it's got a ways to go.